Well, duh. Take the cover off. That might help. There, can you guys see now? Oh, shoot. Sorry. We'll leave that in there for you guys. But, that's maybe out a little bit. I know. Anyway, we puttied, we sanded, and used wood putty to fill the holes and stuff. And then we glued a couple of cracked joints. Well, not joints, but cracked pieces. Then we just held them together with gum bands, rubber bands, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to see how that turned out. That little piece there, they didn't want them. But we'll take care of that before we put it up. Alright, so it's glued together. It's holding. So now what we need to do is sand this one down. And then after we sand it down, the crack, we'll put some of the wood putty in all the nail holes. So that's the first one that was cracked. Here's a few of the ones that the putty was on. We've still got a few more to do. Haven't had a chance to get out here. Weather just hasn't cooperated to where I can have the garage open and put the bike out. So we're working with what we got, taking our time. That's just 60 grit. Then we'll do 220 on it, and then we'll stain it. I want to get the pieces like this right here. See, that drives me nuts, okay? Now, a lot of people I know would just take primer, prime this, and paint it white. Wooden trim should not be painted white in my opinion. It shouldn't be painted at all. It should be stained so the grain of the wood shows. It looks better. I can't stand it's a pet peeve of mine. You walk into a house and they've got all this really nice, you can tell at one point in time it was really nice woodwork for trim, and they've gone and painted it or painted cabinets or something like that. If it's wood, it should be stained. Let the natural grain show. That's just my opinion on it. I know, to each their own. But at the same time, I'll show you guys when we get done. I'll try to demonstrate with a paintbrush and maybe a little bit of water. Not with paintbrush and stain, because you don't use a brush for staining this stuff. We'll show you guys that too. But you can paint your walls if you're not doing anything with your trim. If your trim's stained and you're happy with the color of it and everything, and you're just going through maybe doing a color change or just repainting your walls the same color or something like that just to brighten them up or whatever, you don't have to pull your trim off. You can paint next to your trim without touching your trim, and I will show you guys a paintbrush trick for that. Let me get these cleaned up and the putty on it so I can get the rest of them cleaned up and get the putty off of them and hit them with 220. And by the time I'm done with that, the putty should be dry on this, so I can knock it off with the 60 grit and then hit it with 220, and then we'll stain and show you guys a really simple, neat trick of how to use a paintbrush properly, because a lot of people don't know, and then you end up walking into houses with trim that looks like this. So when we get that to that point, we'll bring you all back in. Huh. I don't know if I was recording the whole time or not. Anyway, that's one piece all sanded up. Now, not sure how well you guys can see this on the camera, but right here you can feel just a little ridge where that crack was. What we will do is take a little bit of our wood putty, and hopefully this stuff works better now. It's got pink tint to it. Yeah. We'll just rub it in there. Kind of let it fill that joint. Fill that nail hole. Yeah, see? And all this stuff is, guys, is basically sawdust or sanding dust and a little bit of glue mixed together. That's basically all it is. So take it, do that. I know it looks like crap right now, but it will look better once we get it sanded and stained. Fill that up. I thought there was another little crack somewhere. What no fair it was down here, I thought. Maybe it's on the other. No, it's right there. Little crack. But it's not broke off. So since it's not broke away like the other breaks were, we're just going to fill the crack. Pay attention to where your nail holes are and look for splits in the wood. If you see a split, just fill it. What piece is this? It's not marked. Should have been marked. It is. Front door left side. Okay. Front door left side. You won't see this, but I'll know it's there, so we're going to try to build that up a little more. Just because I'll know. And it may take you a couple different steps to get it where you want it. When you're fixing stuff like this, take your time with it and don't rush it. Basically, just putting to repurpose it, like we're doing basically, or to reuse it. Just going through and sanding the old finish off of it, and then putting wood putty or wood fill in any little imperfections, and sand them back off to shape it. So that one's ready to be set aside to dry. Won't take it long. Won't take it long at all. Knock the paint off of this one. Get it sanded up. And then we'll get the putty on it. Then we'll get these ones sanded up. And hopefully the wood putty will be dry. My wood putty is kind of old, or my wood filler, but usually it's kind of got a pink purplish tint to it when you first put it on, and then when it dries it'll dry white. But mine dried out a little bit. I added a little bit of water to it, so it'll be alright. It's not rocket science. Simple stuff. They teach us stuff in high school, folks. That's where I learned it all. Just because I haven't said it, okay? I'm not sure. I did something with the camera. It turned the screen off. I'm not sure if it showed me sanding or not. I was using the sander and bringing it up right a little bit just to knock the heavy stuff off, but being real light with it, not being real hard with it, because you don't want to put low spots in it. There's no low spots in it. Now we're to the point where we're going to do our finish sanding with 220. You're using an electric sander. So you want to make sure you keep your sander flat and go with the grain of the wood. Do not run it across. If you run it across, you're going to end up with lines, and your finished product is going to look like crap. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sand the ones that we can down with 220. Hopefully by the time that is done, we get done with that, the putty on the other two will be dry. We can knock that off, hit them with 220, and then we should see you guys in the staining process. Real quick here, this is just primer, but same thing as your paint. Let's say this is your trim, and it's on the wall. Here's your wall board. So you have paintbrush. Get your paintbrush wet. Start from the outside. Work your way in. You'll see how that works. We're going to move the camera over to the other side of the row so you guys can see a little bit better. Alright. Hopefully I can do something with 360 camera. Now, mind you, I just sanded this. Brush wet. Tap it on the sides. start out bringing in tip of the brush is going to run that line right along that trim. Just follow it down. Keep dragging that paint down. Just keep dragging it down. Do that and you won't get any paint on your trim. No paint. So that's how you use paintbrush properly. Keep from getting paint on your trim. So learn that. That's how I do it. That's how I do all my painting. I'll put a picture up here, show you guys my living room when I painted it with no masking tape and how my corners came out. I'll take a picture of them, and because we did a red wall and then beige walls, so I'll show you how my corners came out perfectly straight by using that technique right there. And just get you an old scrap piece of sheetrock or something like that and practice on it, because tape will end up peeling your paint off. So that's just extra tip for you guys. But we gotta go up and we gotta prime some sheetrock that we've been working on for like 3 years. This whole project has been like a 3-year project. We are on our final coat of primer, and then we'll be painting the ceiling, and then we'll be painting the walls. So we'll be ready for the trim. But while the primer is drying, we're gonna come down and finish the trim. Here we go, guys. I got all but the 2 pieces that we had to fix sanded and ready to go. Make sure you shake your stain up really good. If you just bought it, then it'll probably be alright. Probably just need to stir it. We were using carbon gray, Varathane, dries in an hour. Achieve color in 1 coat. It's the only thing close to the flooring that we got. We are not putting any poly, which is clear coat basically, because our flooring doesn't have a shine to it. So we're not going to make the trim have a shine to it either. And I will tell you that it took forever for us to find this color that would match. And look in there. That's all that I used. Whenever I did my living room and dining room. We're going to get this stirred up, and then we'll show you guys staying a short piece and a long piece.